Good morning. Muy buenos días. What a pleasure to be here, and most importantly, what an honor to have such a great group here of individuals with a passion in moving forward the economy, the workforce, the communities of the RGV. And when I look around, I'm so impressed when I see a lot of people from the profit and the nonprofits, economic development, chambers, the cities. Thank you for coming and being part of this. And most importantly, in believing in the mission of South Texas College. This is what we do, is transforming our communities, disrupting the community, and most importantly, being relative to what is needed here. That's what we do best. And we're very thankful that we have a board of trustees that make sure that this happens. I'd like to begin with, we have two board of trustees here. These are elected officials, by the way, that certainly have quite a bit of influence in the decision-making and the direction that the higher education is moving forward to, the direction we take. Beginning with Mr. Paul Rodriguez. Thank you, Paul. And Miss Dalinda Gonzalez Alcantar. Thank you. We have been transforming in the past few years, in the past 3 years. This summit, as you know, this is the third annual summit that we've had, and it continues evolving, most importantly to what is relevant. As I recall, just 3 years ago when I first came here, the topic was very interesting. But first, let me highlight, where are we now? What has made us transform in the last 50 years? What technological achievements have really changed the economy, influenced jobs, influence our decision-making, and most importantly, just the economy. Beginning in the 80s, there's three things only. I don't know if you remember this. For a few, you probably do. In the 80s, mid-80s or so, it was the personal computers. You remember that, the compact computers? That was the big first achievement that revolutionized the workforce, the office, productivity. And then in the 90s, mid-90s as well, once it became adopted, the internet. The internet now, I think we all take that for granted. It's there, we use it for information, but that's when it started, and it took several years, almost a decade, for people to really adopt to it for the many uses. And then in the 2000s, what everybody here cannot live without. What everybody here is holding on their hands. I think you all know what I'm talking about. You know, your little handheld, everybody goes, no, I don't have one. Yes, all of you have one right now in your hand. And the minute that I bore you, you're going to look at it. I know. You know, the smartphone. You see everybody puts it down. Look at that. It's hilarious. That has been the third most impactful technological advancement that has really made a change in our lives. Think about that. And it took a while. I did not start using it until 2010. I'll never forget an employee when I was in Houston working on the international programs. I still had the flip phone in 2010. And she said, sir, how can you live without that? I said, why? What's wrong with it? You know, I got my computer and and then at that, try it. And then I never forget that. That was my administrative assistant. And once I went and broke down, like many of you had to, and got your iPhone or whatever phone, smartphone, I realized, wow, everything is there. I don't think I've ever turned on my laptop ever since then, because everything is there. And then now, of course, where am I leading? What is now the big change that we're seeing? That's what I'm getting at. Things are moving so fast. Of course, we all know that. We heard about it, and I mentioned it right here a year ago, artificial intelligence. That is where we're going to see a big change now. But I'm not going to even try to go there, try to predict where is that going to take us, because that's a total new ballgame. It's no longer going to be, well, it's going to take several years to adopt. It's going to move so fast that all these softwares coming out, you heard of the chat, GPT, and so on, all of those are going to be obsolete by the end of this year. There's going to be some other software, other applications, other uses for it, that's going to be impacting our daily workforce, our daily commute, our daily systems, administration, et cetera. It's going to change everything. And it's going to move so fast that I can't wait for a year from now. We're going to be standing here, and we're going to be talking about all of the achievements and how it has changed our life in less than a year. All of these, the AI revolution. And that's going to be so exciting, and especially all the uses of it, the tools that we're going to be able to adopt to it. And here at South Texas College, we are certainly using this already in our programmatic. We're using it already in our courses. Our faculty is using it very heavily in the programs. And we're not even ready to say to provide a bachelor's degree in AI because it's going to change so fast. That would not be fair for us to even do that because it'd be like us having to go to the university all over again a year from now and start all over again. That's how quickly it's going to change, and that's why you see a lot of euphoria and excitement about AI, and the uses of it. And we still don't know, but the uses are endless. And I'm sure many of you have already experimented with it and tried using it. And you're going to see many other software uses for it. Now, as you recall back then, 3 years ago, when we were here, we talked about where are we going, where we're heading with the economy. And as you recall, it was all the rage about after the pandemic, the supply chain management. You remember all of that, how it was affecting deliveries, commerce, and how it began to skyrocket the prices for delivery and transportation. We talked about that here, and that's how we mentioned the programs at STC that we started immediately implementing, beginning, of course, with the CDL driver's license in our programs. That was immediate response that STC did. And then, of course, a year later, the big topic, and I'm glad that I was one of the first ones to predict it, talking about the nearshoring, all of that was going to be taking place from Asia to Mexico and to the U.S. And that was before even that we knew who was going to be the president, but we already envisioned what was going to happen in changing the economy, changing the transportation, changing commerce, nearshoring along the border. And of course, it continues the opportunity. That's why I get so excited about where we're located. We're in the most enviable location along the U.S.-Mexico border, South Texas, and working together with Mexico. And speaking of Mexico, we're all about to hopefully announce very soon our partnership with the Instituto Internacional de Estudios Superiores in Reynosa. They just right here, I have the owner of the university right here, Mr. Rosendo Martinez. They are now already going to be, they already have, he just reported to me this morning, implemented their first client from an STCU credentials and courses, all online to be done to the maquiladoras. Again, this is a result of this whole supply chain of what the maquiladoras, these are U.S. companies, by the way, maquiladoras, that are located in Reynosa, and using our coursework because they need that for their employees to be able to work with the demands of commerce with the U.S. and taking like the global transportation. So we're very excited that we're going to continue seeing these type of new alliances and taking advantage of our location that was taking place here on the U.S.-Mexico border. And then finally, as I mentioned, the movements that we're going into, well, now is AI. And I'm not going to try to predict where we're going, but we see a lot of uses of AI and how that's going to be implemented. And that's what mostly I'm excited about at STC is that we are the most relevant institution. We have to pivot very quickly, and we have to respond. And that's what we do as an institution, that nobody else can do that. And I did also mention last year, we're going to see a big surge of interest, not only from students, but adults wanting certifications, short-term certificates and diplomas, specialty areas. That's going to be the new trend. It already is now. And we've seen that big change, especially with today's students. If any of you have any kids, I'm sure, that are teenagers or are in college, you've seen the mentality. They want something quick, they want relevancy, they want to feel valued, they want immediate response and solutions to their careers. That's what we do best by providing, of course, associate degrees, bachelor's degrees, but now we're specializing even more with certificates so people can be gainfully employed, a certified professional degree. That's what we're doing. And that's what we're here about. And that's why we're very excited to be able to respond in that very rapid way. And today, this goes back into higher education. Our speakers today are going to be talking about that. The response to the economy, the show. I'm sure you're all ready for this. I had a great meeting with them last night. And it's going to be about certification, but most importantly, the response from the higher education and the colleges, apprenticeships. What better way? So now we're taking it to a higher level. And STC has been doing apprenticeships for many years, but now we're taking it to a higher level and trying to go into every program. So I know many people here are from the economic development, from the chambers, Now your prospects, you're going to be able to sell it to them. Well, guess what? Now your prospective employees, which is the key, skilled workforce. That has always been our issue now. Availability of skilled workforce and willing, that's another matter. Now they're going to be able to be compensated, to be paid, so to earn while you learn. You heard about that. That is what we're going to be seeing more, and I know Desi and Dudley are going to be talking about that today. That is where we're going. That's what we need to do to be able to incentivize, to energize students to go to college. We know I've been saying this, our biggest challenge is that we've had such a strong economy, under 4% unemployment. That's great. But then at the same time, those that want to grow their businesses, well, it's very difficult and challenging, not only to find people, but find qualified, skilled people. And that's what we're going to be. We're balancing that now by getting them incentivized, by having them earn through the different partnerships that we have here with Workforce Solutions, et cetera, and be able to have them, of course, learn and earn at the same time. And they will be talking about that today. The apprenticeships is a long, arduous process to incorporate, but it's one that we're very proud of that does work. And we're very glad that we have the solution. Frank Amaras, where are you? He's here somewhere. They make it happen together with all the other partnerships and the economic development entities, and of course through South Texas College. That's what we're going to see happening even more now, especially with adults. The 30 to 40, 50-year-olds wanting a change in life, that's what we do best, to make it very quickly for them so they can not only get a certified degree, get a job, but at the same time get paid for it. Can you imagine that? That's a great thing. Looking forward to hearing about this discussion and how we can bring those even more. Again, thank you very much for being here. Let's enjoy this thing. Let's learn a lot more from our expert panel. Thank you for coming and supporting STC. Muchas gracias.